Mr. Aslam, do you mind just looking at me and telling me your name and who you are first?
Thanks for having me, first of all. Naeem Aslam. I work as a Chief Market Analyst for Think Markets, an investment and brokerage firm based in London with footprints around the globe. And I work as a columnist for Forbes, where my day-to-day job is to cover all the blockchain aspects and the user cases of blockchain, and of course the price action for the big cryptocurrencies.
The big cryptocurrencies. You described yourself several months ago as a bull. Are you still a bull?
I'm always a bull for the right products, for sure. So just to put that in perspective, only 2 weeks ago I bought Bitcoin, and the reason that I bought Bitcoin, not Ethereum,
in the midst of the downturn.
Absolutely, and the primary reason was because my portfolio is highly skewed towards Ethereum, and I still believe in Ethereum. But in order to balance and hedge my portfolio, I had to buy more Bitcoin. And I think this was a great opportunity for me to do that. And then I did it in around 3,400 to 3,500 mark. And now my portfolio is more balanced. But here is an element, because I still believe in Ethereum. And if you look at the price of Ethereum, it's trading. We did a video a few weeks back. In that video, what we discussed was that, look, the downside is very limited because now you are trading in around $80 for Ethereum.
Okay.
And the big support is at 70. If you lose everything is $80. The upside is unlimited. Why wouldn't you come and then buy Ethereum now? Because my average cost for Ethereum is a lot more higher. I bought it at 800, 600, 300 and below that as well. So right now, I think it presents a good opportunity for me and for any of the viewers that they are watching.
You're still an Ethereum evangelist. I have to tell you from a less knowledgeable point of view that people are bearing Ethereum right now.
Look, I think there are two reasons that we've seen this huge downfall in Ethereum. All those sham projects, they were using Ethereum to build their product, whatever, they're no longer in the market. B, the huge panic, because if you have raised 40 million in Ethereum, then you just wanted to cash that out as quickly as possible. Right. In terms of a technology, I still believe that Ethereum does have leg. Why? Because if you look at the bigger institutes, they are fully backing that up. To put that in perspective, look at JP Morgan. I don't know many people know, but JP Morgan actually has a blockchain lab. And I don't know if many people have read the report that they produced fairly recently on blockchain. It's a huge, like about 25 to 30 pages, very extensive research that they have done in the DLT space, blockchain space. They are a huge supporter of Ethereum and few other institutions at the same time. Yes, then there are competitors like Tron, which can collect data in the offline mode. And to be very honest with you, I don't know too much about the tech side of it, but because I'm more on the macro side, what would be the implications of applying the technology? But I know that for the fact that yes, Tron can actually go on offline mode and collect data, and then Ethereum perhaps isn't that, and the scalability issues are also there. But despite the fact more people are supporting Ethereum, and given that consensus is supporting Ethereum still, and given that the consensus is still fully on board for Ethereum, I think the future lies there, because it's all about community. It's all about approaching who you are within that industry. Just like Ripple, yes, many people say that it's a sham project, so on and so forth.
You think Ripple is a sham project?
Here is an example. Okay. So the day that we saw that, we experienced that, okay, Bitcoin dropped below 6,000, breaking that psychological level of 6, and then 5. The same happened for Ethereum, right? You're looking at the price action of Ripple. Ripple is still trading at 50 cents to 48 cents to 45 cents, when Bitcoin has broken two major psychological levels, and it's like below 4,000 and below 3,000, sorry, in mid 3,000, and Ripple is still staying there at 45 cents at that time. Not now, I'm speaking of 2 weeks or about a week ago. Makes you question why Ripple isn't really moving. there's something going on the OTC market. Someone is buying it just in order to make sure that the price is being stable. Yes, you could say that Ripple has a real use case and then XRP and all of that,
right,
with the new format coming. But despite all of this, yes, there's no tender for cryptocurrencies. But in terms of a market capitalization, Bitcoin has the biggest use case right now
Sure.
in the market. If Bitcoin it can't hold its psychological levels, its biggest price levels, how Ripple can do that? So the only explanation which you can think of is go and then look on the OTC desk. And when you start looking at the OTC desk tells you one thing, that okay, it's some individuals are just trying to keep the price stability
stabilize Ripple.
to Ripple.
Oh,
But
right.
yeah, now we're seeing the price has come down because we talked about it a lot, and now we can see that it's in I believe in early 30s. That's where the price is trading at. But I'm not advocating or saying that the Ripple is anything to do with the fault. I think Ripple has very strong community behind it. I think Ripple has a very strong team behind it. And I also believe that the Ripple has integrated quite deep within the banking system, where some of the banks, now I'm using my words very carefully, some of the banks may actually end up using XRP or other products that Ripple has.
And that's an interesting question. I'm going to move us forward because, one can say that 2017 and 2018, both the years of the ICOs, their demise as well,
Yeah.
And their death. First of all, are ICOs dead?
I would concur with you to an extent that yes, that steam, as we already know, that
Right.
that is not there. But unfortunately, we are sitting at a time frame right now, or at a particular stage in time, where we don't have a clarity on the STO side, and we know the ICO is dead, or the industry is pretty much dead.
Right.
Now, people who actually wanted to support the STO industry, they're not coming right now because there are not enough platforms where you can actually go and then do the STO. So there's the new term which we've coined, a friend of mine actually coined, is called HTO, hybrid tokens.
Right.
Right? So you're sitting in between them, which has a combination of utility token, and it has a combination of security tokens as well. So yes, there's a clear evidence, there's a support for that kind of stuff. So yes, to answer your question very briefly, we do not see the same kind of a momentum for ICO.
But they did color so-called the field within the last 2 years. We're on the cuff of 2019. What will 2019 look like in your mind for both cryptocurrencies and separately for the technology itself, for blockchain?
Yes. So
And
they
with
are really good questions. So in relation to cryptocurrencies, I think we see more stability going into 2019. Unfortunately, I do not see a huge bull rally coming back into cryptocurrency, unless, of course,
Anytime soon, or
I think it's really depend on one element, how the world economy is going to perform. If the trade war really kicks in, if we have a qualms around that, okay, what exactly is going on with the world economic growth,
Right.
and on top of that, the debts that these governments are holding, then yes, the big explosive move is going to be on the cryptocurrency side, whether it's going to be 2019 or 20. Hence, I'm not going to sell anything that I have. And yes, we do videos in terms of a technical analysis for cryptocurrencies, but trust me, one part of my portfolio, I don't even care about that, where the price action is, because I'm there for a long term, and then that's what I believe in.
you're there for the long term, and that you were quoted as saying that Bitcoin is a religion. And in that respect, I'm wondering with you, when it comes to Bitcoin, first of all, really quickly, all these cryptocurrencies that are battling for their lives right now, one can argue, who do you think will survive?
I think Bitcoin is certainly there for sure. After that, take a pick. It's very difficult to do that.
Really?
I think I'm still. What I can say is that what I hold in my portfolio, just only top two coins. Those are the Bitcoin and Ethereum.
And of course, this is, disclaimer, this is not
Yes.
a recommendation for anyone in that
Sure.
respect. It appears the world governments are looking to adopt the technology, blockchain. It appears like they're falling in love with the technology, but not with its children, so to speak, the cryptocurrencies. Do you think that regulation will actually flip the whole ideology behind the technology?
No, I think regulators are watching this space very carefully, and I think in going into 2019 we will have some major development, major framework around it, because without regulators this is just a wild place where anyone can come, they can do an ICO, scam people, and then just leave the space altogether.
But wasn't that also the point of it all, the freedom to do?
Freedom to an extent. Freedom where you still have some authority over looking at you so that the bad products are not coming into the market. And I think we need that. Believe me, whether people like it or not, but we still trust in banks. Someone would trust their local bank more putting their money with them rather than with me or with anyone else. That's just because the familiarity element. And I'm not saying that this thing wouldn't kick off. I mean, it wouldn't go to a different element. I think it's going to take us time, because now it is still the first wave of that adoption of the technology, which is going to go between 2017 to 2020. After 2020 to 25, we're going to see the second wave, and the actual potential of the technology, the peer-to-peer lending and everything else in its current form, we would only see that between 2025 to 2030. And what I am saying is very much is echoed in JPM's blockchain unlocking the report that they did. That's the way they see it. The full potential of the technology not before 2020, where you can actually go and then use it as we are using as internet.
Apropos the internet, so you think that, I'm calling it mainstreaming of the technology, we are 5 years away from that?
We are 5 years from that, yes.
5 years away. Just a few more questions. Europe and the block. There's something fascinating to us at BLOCKTV, you know, the team we've been discussing in editorial meetings, that in the United States you can see that both the technology and the currency is something that's interesting to a greater group of people, so to speak. It seems like Europe is behind on that. Am I right in saying that?
No, I wouldn't say Europe is behind on that, especially when we are talking about governments like Malta, Gibraltar, that have done, and they've actually set an example for other countries to come. And then the big boys like UK, France, Germany, and then they're watching this game from the sideline.
Right.
And very soon they're going to jump into the playground. They're going to say, okay, boys, party's over. You guys go and leave the space for us. And then now from here, we will come and we will show you how to scale things on a bigger, much bigger level.
On a bigger level.
Yeah.
But scalability is a major issue.
Yes.
And scalability solving, when do you see that happen? Because I'm assuming that to mainstream this technology, you need to solve the scalability problem.
Yes, I think there's a lot of research still being carried out, a lot of projects which are coming and claiming that, okay, we can do this, we can do that. But if I can name one project to you which has actual use, there isn't one.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. And this is the primary reason that I decided to delve further into this industry and then start my PhD in the blockchain and in asset tokenizations, which I will be starting next year. And then the most interesting thing is not many universities are offering PhD in a blockchain.
This is a new thing, I know.
This is a new thing. And then plus, when you find a university, one of the Ivy League universities, then the question really comes, who's going to be your supervisor? A person who has a lot of knowledge, who can actually sit down and supervise you.
Exactly. And
So
we're
there
still
are a lot
looking
of
for those
hurdles.
people.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are a lot of hurdles, but there are right people around the globe. I've spoken to several of them, and I'd be happy to elaborate a lot more on this in our next interview.
Get one last question. Actually, two last questions. And this is going to sound ridiculous. The whole notion of, you know, is it a security or is it an asset when it comes to cryptocurrency? What would be the answer to that if I'm asking you that question?
Hybrid.
Hybrid, okay.
Hybrid. Certain would be classified as a security, certain would be classified as a utilities. So I think that would be, because if you still see the landscape, that how it is developing, we do not have the exact clarity that, okay, can you really call everything security?
Right.
Why would you? If you wanted to have a coin and then you want to introduce that coin within Starbucks network, why would that be a security? Why wouldn't it be a utility?
True. No, true. Finally, because it's going to be your PhD, you've been describing yourself as a Bitcoin, believer. You believe in the technology. Is this a revolution about to happen? Is this the new internet?
I completely believe that blockchain technology would change, and I'm so glad that you asked me this question, because before I decided to do a PhD in this space, I've done about literally 2 to 3 months of research. The process that I've adopted was I started to call in different universities, different professors who actually have PhD in computer science and finance. And these are the two areas, because I'm more interested in the macro element. What do you deal with it? Fungible assets. How do you tokenize the assets? How do you transfer those assets?
How do you apply this technology to
How
life?
do you apply this technology in a real life? And how you can increase the value of assets which are not part of our economy by using this great technology. And then there are several different projects which are actually using blockchain technology just to streamline the processes. Even within banks, coming from the bank, worked as a hedge fund trader, we can see that how processes are within from front to back office. And then you can clearly see that the use of a blockchain technology across various 3 different departments. Sadly, that would mean in the coming years loss of jobs, because the technology will take over from these guys. And I think my advice to anyone is to get involved in this, educate yourself, learn more about the technology, because when that time would come, you will be sitting in that equation which will represent a very small portion. Because having a PhD is such a privilege that only 5% of the people actually represents in the world who actually have that doctors of philosophy. And if you are getting yourself involved in the blockchain space, you are presenting a fraction of a fraction.
A fraction of a fraction of a fraction.
Yes.
But you do believe this is a revolution that will happen, not but when?
Yes, I believe so, and this is why I'm dedicated to spend next 3 years of my life carrying out research on this space.
I will call you on this, really.